All right, so today we're looking at half, looking at these shapes that we have and seeing if they represent one half. So if one half of each is shaded. Now I got a little excited and I started with the most exciting figure first. So that's why you see G. But let's go ahead and start with E. So we have a square and we have half shaded in because that square is divided into two equal parts. Remember in a fraction, or when we see a fraction, the fraction 1/2 is often written very much so like this. Sorry, guys. 1/2. And the top number is what we call the numerator, and the bottom number is what we call the denominator. The denominator represents the number of total equal parts. So in E, there are two equal parts, and 1, which is our numerator, is shaded in. 1 is shaded in. So let's look at F. So there are two parts for sure, which represents the bottom half, the denominator. But those equal parts, look at where this line starts. Look at this. Check it out right here. This one was tricky. This is not exactly half, right? Not exactly half. In fact, let's draw one where it is exactly half. We would have a square like so. Doing my best here with not having my geometric cabinet from our Montessori classroom. So if it were half, it would start directly in the corner and go corner to corner. And you can see how this one is not directly in that corner right here, right? Not directly there. So this is not a half. So in fact, let's go ahead and take this and say, nope, doesn't work. Doesn't work, all right? Now let's go back in and check out the H, option H. We had a triangle now. We have two parts, which is a part of the half, and one exact half is shaded in. So they're the exact same size. They're equal parts. So that one works out. So then we get to G, which is interesting. And like, how am I supposed to know if this is exactly half? Well, there's a couple of ways. So what I did is I took the shape. There's two that are shaded in. So I took those two right here. And you can kind of see where we've done our work already, saying, all right, now I'm going to take this yellow one, I'm going to move it over here. I'm going to just scoot it over. So I'm going to take it as is and just scoot, 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 scoot. And here's what we would get. I'm going to go ahead and draw it for you, or try and draw it for you. So I already have my one here. I am not going to do anything with it. Right, so here it is. This is the one I just redrew. And this is the one here that I'm just going to be scooting over all the way until it gets to this line. So I'm going to go ahead and do that one in, let's do it as yellow. So if I were to scoot this one over to where its backbone lined up with this backbone of this triangle, here's what we would get. Okay. So we get another triangle that might be similar to this one if we turn it upside down. So let me get a little space here. So now if we were to put each of these upside down, I'm going to do that now. So now the bottom of our yellow become the top. We'll do the same thing with our blue one. Remember, the yellow is the one that we kind of slid and changed. So here's what we end up having. We end up having each of our parts from here, even the one that we moved, right? This is the one that we moved, the yellow one. So we took our blue triangle, we moved our yellow one over, and then we flipped it. And you can see that this here represented is the same size in equal parts as this one here, which are the two pieces that we broke apart, right? So these two pieces we took and isolated here. This yellow one we scooted over so that it lined up with the backbone here. This is where it is. The yellow one is scooted over to line up with our blue. And then we flipped them. And we can see that these two parts, when we flipped, are the same as this. So this is in fact a half. Even though it looks like it's not divided into two parts, it is indeed a half. So when we check them out, that means that E was a good one, F was not, G was exactly a half, and H was exactly a half. That was a tough one, huh? Tough one to do when we don't have those materials in front of us and you only have me drawing it. But hopefully you can kind of have a good vision now for how this is exactly the same.